Hey folks, been a while for the Defender build. I have now added a front runner Gullwing window. So we pulled this window out, fit the frame in. I've got the video coming up in a minute, the process of what we did with the guys at Public Enemy Customs and Dom. It's incredible, I'm very pleased with it. But essentially it's just a hard aluminium black powder coated window Gullwing that folds up like that on gas struts. I've got plenty of storage. I've got a shelf here, a shelf underneath, and I've got something that I'm going to add to the back of it in a minute, which is this. I've done some measurements. I've got this Molle panel is going to go on the inside, so I can hang an axe, tools, first aid kit, etc. on the inside via this panel. This is actually for a Pelican case for your camera gear and things like that, but I figured I could jerry rig it to the back of this box. So it's a really cool process. What I'm going to do is show you the build now, and then we'll come back after that, install this, and I'll give you a little tour of it.
So before Dom even started on taking the window out, he removed the two folding back seats. Overall, the Defender has 7 seats, and I only have 2 kids. So I only really needed the 2 front seats and the 3 rear seats. The folding seats at the back of the vehicle take up quite a bit of space, even when folded upright. As I intend to maximise the space on the load bed in the boot of the vehicle, Dom replaced some of the large raised bolts with some riv nuts. These have a much lower profile than the standard domed Defender bolts, so they won't rub or wear away against anything that I put in the vehicle. He used some copper grease on the base of the bolts to protect them from rust. Once the 2 seats were removed, he unboxed the Gullwing window and double-checked all of the right components were there. Then Dom removed the interior plastic trim. As my Defender no longer had the folding seats in the back, we needed to remove the seat belts too. This also makes it easier to get the trim off. Dom then masked up the area around the window frame edge and used a plastic tool to gently prise off the frame from the aluminium body. Some frames are riveted into place, but this one was bonded onto the body, which meant that removing it was really tedious and a delicate job. After about 30 minutes, Dom had removed all of the bonding and the window could now come out freely. Now, because of the nature of this model of Defender, being the old style, they were all handmade, so each one has slightly different measurements. This meant that when we did a dry run and held up the Gullwing window to the frame, it was slightly too big. So Dom had to mark out around the edge of the Gullwing the area that needed removing. He then got to work with an angle grinder and removed a good centimetre of aluminium from the body of the Defender. As per the instructions from the Frontrunner website, he removed the Gullwing window from the outer frame and double checked that it fit flush up against the Defender window frame. He then added some more masking tape right on the edge of the frame and marked out the holes that needed drilling. Then he carefully drilled out these holes using a metal drill bit. He then removed the masking tape, cleaned up the holes and matched up the frame to the Defender again. Once he was happy it fit, he added some sealant to the edge of the Gullwing frame. This is to prevent any water ingress from getting inside, and it will compress and spread as the window pulls tight to the frame. I then went on the inside of the vehicle and Dom on the outside, and as he pushed each bolt through into the interior mounting brackets, I then held the nuts in place while he tightened them. With the frame finished, it was time to add the Gullwing gas struts to the interior of the vehicle. These just bolt onto the frame, but it's important to get the gas struts the right way round, as they look very similar when you hold them up against the window. Now the Gullwing window was complete, it was time to test it out.
Yeah, go. That's so cool. That is so cool. Yeah, I love that. That's really nice, isn't it?
Really sweet.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
But that wasn't the end of the installation. I also got the Gullwing box, which bolts onto the interior of the vehicle, so that when you open the window, you have a handy storage area to grab tools or camping items within easy reach from outside of the vehicle. As per the Gullwing installation, we double checked all of the components of the box were there, and then began to work on putting the box together. The box itself consists of an aluminium frame with a wood backing board. The box bolts onto the frame of the Defender on the inside, so it's solid and won't rock loose when off-roading or overlanding long distances. There are also additional shelves that you can get for the box. The shelf itself has a metal outer frame which bolts onto the box itself, and then a wood shelf sits on top of this.
So you join me in the back of the vehicle, and this is the box, the actual Gullwing box. It's separate to the Gullwing window. You don't necessarily have to have this, it's an addition. But what I've got is this Pelican Molle. It's like anodized ARB plastic, whatever they call it. The really durable plastic. So I was thinking, I did some measurements, and if you look, it's a really good fit to go on the back of this Gullwing box. And then I've got internal storage as well of any items that I have that can be straps, like an axe, Molle pouches and things like that, so I have quick and easy access when I open the boot. Now obviously I can't install this straight flush against the Gullwing box like that, so the Pelican case does come with these, but what that means is the Molle panel sits this side and this side sits flush to the wood, and obviously then I'm not going to have any gap to put any Molle webbing things on, any attachments. I need to have a spacer. So my TV bracket inside the house came with these black spacers. So if I have that on the Gullwing box, if you imagine this goes flush against the Gullwing box there, that's going to give me a gap. Then the wood of the Gullwing box will be here, and the actual windows this side. Molle panel sits out by a centimetre, and that gives me enough to tuck the webbing pouches around behind if I want to attach anything behind it. That's my theory. Got these tiny little bolts as well, because I want it bolted on and not screwed so it doesn't come loose when I hit any bumps. So I've just used an awl to hold this corner in place. I've gone higher, so I figure if I go any lower, it's gonna, any backpacks and things that I put in here is gonna clip and bang things that I'm hanging from here. So I've gone as high as I can. Got the awl there. I've drilled a hole in this, but I now, that's a pilot hole. I now need to get a bigger drill bit. But I can, however, drill that other hole. Now I've marked it. Okay. There are other holes in this for the shelf. So the spacers were too large. The bolts, when they came out, were flush with the wood. I wouldn't have enough space for the nuts. So what I've done is I've taken a hacksaw and just cut these in half. And that amount should allow me enough here to put the bolt on. Okay. The bolts fit. I've only loosely put them in. So this is an example of Molle straps, Molle webbings. This one has some pop rivets. This is a cook kit. This one is actually just a Velcro. Both can attach to the webbing here, and I'll show you. So that's just an example of Molle pouches, Molle webbings, how they work. First aid kit here. If I wanted to kind of get it off quickly, I could just hold that handle, pull down, and then I have quick access, because it's Velcro, to my first aid kit if I was in a bit of a rush. This one's attached slightly different with proper Molle webbing, with pop catches, but again I can still pull it off really quickly, or I can leave it on and access the contents like that. Something else that I added to the Gullwing box that I forgot to mention is this light. It's got I think it's a PIR sensor, or it's got like a permanent on mode, but it's attached at the top via some small brackets which have 3M sticky back the 3M sticky backing, and they're magnetic, so the light can actually be detached, and I can use it elsewhere if I want to, and I just offer it back up and it clips back in. It's really useful, especially at night, to be able to see what I've got in the Gullwing box and access all the contents. At the moment I store in there my roof straps, my towing straps, and kind of a lot of my recovery gear, but there'll be more, and I'll go through soon exactly what I'll be keeping in here and the layout and things like that. Well, that's it for this episode. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Like I say, I'll link everything in the description below, including the Molle panel that I bought from Amazon for those that are interested. Big thanks to Dom at Public Enemy Customs for helping me fit this. It was definitely not easy. He did a lot of work because each Defender, these models, the older ones, they're handmade. So there's some tolerance, and there's differences in size slightly. So we had to actually cut a bit. Dom had to cut a bit out to fit the frame in. But he did an amazing job. Super chuffed with it. I'll link to Dom and his work down below. And obviously Frontrunner as well. Thank you for sending this over. Really appreciate it. We're getting there with the build. We are getting there. Still need to get something like a rooftop tent. I'm going to change the wheels, the alloys, the side steps. I've got a lot more interior stuff to add and sort as well. It's a long journey, and I've also got my old Series 3 Land Rover, the military one, to start restoration on. Need to get a new starter motor for that, so I can get it running better again. But yeah, it's just time. It's finally the time, as you guys know. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this type of video, there, I'll put a link to the playlist, the Defender build playlist, where you can watch every episode of every step that I've done from when I bought the vehicle, and also the other playlists are there too. So thanks for watching, cheers for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.